Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? So I'll just get this a moment just to get those notifications out to people that I'm live, and then we will begin. If you want to grab yourself a quick drink of Energon, please feel free and go right ahead. Hopefully, we're not going to be too long today. I am, like the comment says, happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. Okay, just check my audio levels. Everything looks good. So today's topic is, I'll be honest, one that I'm not looking forward to tackling, to be honest, mainly because it's quite near and dear to my heart, which is the Transformers Christmas specials. A little bit of history before we get into it. So I've done the Transformers Christmas specials since 2011. So 15 years. And yeah, it's been a wild ride so far. And 15 years later, I always said to myself as I was progressing through the specials that I wouldn't really end the Christmas specials, that I just keep on doing it. A few factors have come in lately that have made me reconsider and made me think of some more other options. So what I want to say straight away is the Christmas special of 2025, which should be uploaded anytime between now and Friday. Because I just want to check a few things for the final upload, make sure everything's okay before I upload it. But the Christmas special of 2025, the Christmas Cruise Last Hurrah, ? That is not, and that is never intended to be the final Christmas special. If the Christmas special ends, which again I'll go into more detail in a moment when we properly get started, but essentially the Christmas special, if it does end, the earliest it will end is next year. So this is a setup to a potential finale, and I have a lot of different options available to me that I want to hear my cast thoughts on, whether that's via message or whether that is via the comments. But I would also like to hear from the audience who's commented and followed for so long. What's your thoughts? Again, we'll get into everything in a moment. Okay. So how's everyone's December's going? I hope it's going well. I've had the Blockies Advent calendar, and that's really cool so far. All right, so I think we should get started. So, right off the bat, yes, I did spell different wrong. Defent. It's meant to say different. It was a bit of a last-minute image I just put together. So, yes. Hello, Thanatos. So, any questions that people have, whether it's after this live stream's ended, if you're watching it as a normal video, or whether you're watching live, feel free to ask the questions. I will come back to the questions after I've either finished what I'm saying or right at the end of the video. So yeah. Now, essentially what you're seeing on screen right now is the options I have available that I have considered so far. There might be other options I think of after this stream. Might be options you think of. Let me know if you think of any. But essentially, these are the options I've got available to me. I'm going to go over them briefly, and then I'll kind of go over in more detail. Again, it's not hopefully going to be a long live stream, nothing like an hour and a half. I don't have that time available today anyway. So, yeah, it's I basically want to sit down with you and actually discuss the state of the Christmas specials, because you've followed for 15 years, some of you, and I think you deserve the truth. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. This is the facts. So, 6 options available. The first option is to end the Christmas specials completely. Second option is carry it on as normal. Third is do a different type of special. Fourth is to reinvent / reset the Christmas special. Next one is to put the Christmas specials on a hiatus and come back in a few years' time, see how I feel. And the 6th option is, instead of doing a Christmas specials in the Christmas special universe, do a Christmas special for my Transformers Cinematic Universe instead. So those are the 6 options that I have available to me right now. So I'm going to go over each of these, exactly what they are, now in a little bit more detail. So number 1 is to end the Christmas specials. So as I mentioned at the start of this live stream a few minutes ago, the 2025 Christmas special is not and has never intended to be the finale. But it could be the big sort of final fight finale. So essentially what we could get is, in 2025, this year's video, is the big sort of boss fight. And then if I did it 2026, that would be more of a kind of like an epilogue episode where there's no villain to fight. It's just a bit of like a smooth sailing finale, essentially, without any big fighting and curses and stuff like that. So that is option 1, just to end it next year, essentially, or end it in a couple of years. I don't know. That kind of leads on to point number 2, which is to carry on. So that is just to carry on as normal, do next year's special, do 2027, 2028, and just see how I feel. Maybe I'll feel different in 6 months to a year. It depends. Third option is for a different sort of special. This was actually suggested to me by Harrison Gottfried suggested this, and I think Thanatos, you might have suggested it. I'm not sure. I've spoken to a lot of people about this, so yeah, apologies if I get my my conversations muddled up a bit. But it's to move the Christmas special to something else, like an Easter special or a Halloween special or a Thanksgiving special. The reason for that is to keep it in the same universe, so you have the same characters, but they're just sort of more normal episodes. They're not centered around saving Christmas. A New Year special as well, that could be something. The reason for this is the time in December. November, December, getting ready for Christmas. A lot of the cast members are busy. I am busy. And it's the one time of the year where I am stuck to a deadline. If I missed Christmas special deadline and it's after Christmas, it kind of feels a bit redundant to make it. I remember once, years ago, I think it was 2020, might have been 2013, the Mixed Up Movies special. It was a really early special that I did when I first started. And I remember sitting here, where I am right now, editing on Christmas Eve. Because I knew that if I didn't finish it, it would be a bit pointless. At least with like Halloween, if I miss a Halloween deadline, which I have before, I have Bonfire Night to fall on. So, yeah, that it would be essentially moving from December, giving everyone a deadline when everyone's busy anyway, Christmas shopping or work or whatever. And, everyone's seeing family in December, family, friends, stuff like that. So it kind of puts on me to put on other people a deadline pressure and responsibilities. And a lot of the time and this is nothing against any cast members, things happen, but I've had it where I've spoke to a couple of cast members, asked them if they could commit to it, Christmas special, and I've got a yes from them, and I've started like writing it, and I've done all the character development and everything in the story, and then either after filming it or just about filming it, I've had a message saying actually I can't commit, and I've had to essentially rewrite certain lines to other characters. And again, that's nothing against cast members, because the cast members do an absolute brilliant job every year, and people have lives, and I'm sure if I was more of a voice actor than a sort of project creator, I would have similar situations. I would say, okay, I can commit to that, and then maybe something will come up, an emergency or something, and suddenly you can't commit. Life happens. And that's a big thing around moving the special from December to another time of the year where it's less busy. Anyway, that is point 3, different special. Point 4 is a reinvention / reset, soft reboot. So essentially what this would be is we would sort of say goodbye to the Christmas crew. So Optimus, Krampus, Scourge, Mindwipe, everyone like that. And we would have a brand new set of characters, a brand new story, brand new locations. Because at the minute, the Christmas special kind of sort of lead on loosely into each other. So sometimes I tease different things. Like a few years ago, I was like, had this thing with Optimus where he did something kind of bad, and then he realized afterwards there was small print saying that his body will die, and he was like, "Oh no, my body's gonna die. What am I gonna do? At least I can have the Christmas body." So yeah, they kind of lead into each other, but this would be a complete soft reboot. So it would be in the same continuity. So same Christmas continuity, same universe, but it would be different location, different story, different characters. And it also gives me a chance to have different cast members, because I get a lot of the time where people will ask, when am I getting new characters? When is there any new voice work? And sometimes I have to kind of say no, because either I'm not working on a project that has new voice actors needed, or the story's already written, or whatever. But if I bring in like new characters, brand new, that's never had a voice actor, I can reach out to those people who's been asking for a while and give them a role. Now, I would completely welcome any current cast members or former cast members of my channel if they wanted to return. Anyone in my special right now, if you're voicing, even though the characters may conclude, essentially you can always return and voice another character. I'm not going to say that the Christmas special characters end and that cast members' time is up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the cast are fully welcome back as new characters. So yeah, that's the reinvention. So it's not a reboot. It's still in the same continuity, but it would keep it fresh. And one thing I could do is have new characters every single year. So I could have like the Christmas special of 2027, because again, this 2025 is not the finale. If there's a finale or reset, it would be 2026, the final one with like Optimus and everyone. And then 2027 would be when it gets reset and rebooted in the same continuity with new characters. And then like each year, 2027, 8, 9, 2030, so on. Every year I could do completely different characters every single year, Whether I create a new Christmas crew or reset it every year, that's another option. And then following on from the reunion, I could do, and this was something suggested to me by Thanatos Prime, so thank you, Thanatos, is do a reunion special. So leave the Christmas crew, again, that consists of Optimus and everyone. Leave them for a few years, do something different, and then bring them all back in a few years' time when I've had a few years away from them. Because Optimus, he can be a bit heavy, you know, he's got a big ego. But yeah, come back in a few years and do a reunion special where everyone kind of reprises a role if they're available or, you know, up for doing it. And we kind of see where they've been for a few years whilst we've been with some different characters. So that's point 4. The next point, number 5, is a hiatus. So it on a hiatus for a few years, which would mean not doing Christmas specials for a few years, and then bring it back, which kind of leads into the reunion special as well. And the final point is the Transformers Cinematic Universe Christmas special. So this would not be set in the Christmas special universe. This would be set in the cinematic universe. This would consist of more serious stories, more thought out, more planned. Because that would be a lot more brain power, and the animation quality would be a bit better because it's in my cinematic universe. So it would have to be in the correct fashion for me to deliver that to a high standard, to my cinematic universe standards. So that's the 6 ideas. If you have any thoughts or preference on those, let me know in the comments. You know, what do you think? So, I have some other points. So, leading on from the quality, the Christmas specials, I've always tried to do to a good quality. Keyword good. I don't do it minimal, but I don't go crazy. I don't want to go to my cinematic universe level where I'm doing full fluid animation, full on effects, full on sound effects, all that dramatic camera movement. That takes a long time. And if I'm going to do something like that, I think it deserves to be in my cinematic universe. The Christmas specials has always been something where it's more simpler animation. It's not a sense of the quality is bad. It's a sense that it's different. It's simpler. It's not on that same level, and it's not meant to be on the same level as my cinematic universe. You know, they're plastic figures. Think of it like Toy Story. You know, they're just figures just messing around half the time. Editing is another thing. So, you know, I don't do mouth movements with the Christmas specials. So that is something that takes up a big amount of time with Cinematic Universe. And story. So with my Christmas specials, it's very easy to think of a story. Cinematic Universe, I could plan it for years. I have stories right now that I'm still writing. Not because it's taken me too long that I can't write it. It's I'm writing it on and off, or I'm doing other things, or I just want to take my time writing it because I want to make it as best as it can be. And I've always said, you know, this is kind of a separate point, but I've always said, even if someone comes out with a story that is the exact same as what I did somehow, I would still make my universe the way I originally intended to make it, even if it's similar to someone else's. Because in my mind, I've come up with that idea first, in a way. With this year's Christmas special, when I filmed it, it was I was okay. However, I won't go into this. Hey, Derek, hope you're okay. We're just discussing the state of the Christmas universe. So, yeah, when I was writing and filming the Christmas special this year, I was fine health wise, and I'm still fine health wise. But when I was editing, I had some personal stuff going on, and I wasn't 100%. I was kind of a little bit sick. So, editing wise, it was a lot harder. But I'm still very happy with how this year's Christmas special turned out. It looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty happy with this year's. Another reason I'm thinking of ending the Christmas specials or doing one of these options that you see on screen right now is view count. This is not something that drives me. I've always said if I entertain one person, if I make one person happy, that's my job done. Anything else is a bonus. I make these videos for myself as well because I want to make them, you know. However, at the height of my Christmas special, I think it was 2016 when Krampus had his second episode. It was 2015 was when Krampus debuted, and then 2016 was when he had his grand return. He imposes Optimus Prime, and they had a big fight and everything. And 2016 Christmas special, I think that had 18,000 views. Now, depending on your channel, that might be a large amount of views. That might be a low amount of views. For me, that's pretty high. And to go from 18,000 to now struggling to get 500 views on a Christmas special, I don't know whether it's the algorithm. I don't know whether it's a change of audience interest, whether it's a quality. I don't know. But since then, it is a bit concerning of that huge jump. You know, when you think about it, that's like I'm trying to do the math in my head. Like if I just round it up to like 20,000, just to round it up, it's like a 40 times drop in views if I'm averaging 500. So it's crazy. And with that huge drop, it does make me wonder, what are people just not finding the videos anymore? Are they not interested? And as a creator, I want to make people happy. I want people to enjoy the stories. And again, as long as I make one person happy, that's the main thing. But when you go from 18,000 to struggling to get 500, I think last year, I think it was 300 views, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. But it does make you feel a little bit defeated. You know, are people not liking what I put out? I don't know. It's a concern, but yeah. So the next point is characters in my Christmas specials, without me really trying, they are coming to a natural close, whether I like it or not. I wasn't originally planning to end the Christmas specials, but the characters are rounding off. Maybe I can take it to new development areas and develop them further, but just my mindset right now, the way I'm seeing the specials, I have maybe a few projects most left with these characters because I just feel like the story is just pushing them in a direction where it concludes them perfectly. I won't spoil this year's Christmas special, but I'll just talk about a few little points of characters to notice. Mindwipe is one to notice. Optimus is one to notice. Sideswipe, he's one to look out for as well. if we look back at the Halloween Bonfire Night special, Dracula's, that's one to look out for. A lot of these characters are going through things where they're just naturally concluding, and it just feels kind of the right time to send them off. And whether that means bringing in the reset where I just follow new characters, because that could literally allow me to create completely new personalities. Because there's a difference between new personalities and developing current personalities. So, for example, with Optimus Prime, if I want to do something drastic with him, or if I want him to get somewhere, I have to plan that road and think, how am I going to get him there to change his character over time, gradually? Because no one just changes instantly unless there's something drastic. Whereas if I do new characters, I can just completely go nuts and just do whatever the heck I want with the characters. You know, I don't really have to develop them. I can just make them like however that I want them to make. So yeah, that's another reason characters are naturally come to a close. That's another reason. Another point for 2025 Christmas special. So not all characters in the special have a voice actor. There's a lot of background characters in this special, and that is because if it is the final battle, I wanted to get as many of the characters, if not all, from previous specials to all star in at least one scene, just to have that saying where they've all kind of contributed to the finale in some way. Even if they don't develop their character, if they don't add anything, I just kind of wanted them I just wanted them there. There's main characters in this, and there's background. But I just wanted them there, just to be there, you know, as one big Christmas family crew. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to gauge the audience reaction, the cast reaction. I've had a few cast members reach out to me and say, if you end it, I respect you for ending it, and maybe it's a good thing. But I've also had some people say it's quite sad if I end the Christmas specials, which I can see both points of views. I was speaking to Input Reviews and Customs, and he mentioned something that I never considered. I didn't think of it like this. But Input mentioned my Christmas specials have lasted longer than most TV series. I can think of a handful of TV shows that have lasted a long time. Big Bang Theory, that's one. Simpsons, a lot of like animation ones, like I think American Dad, Family Guy, Ninjago had a long series run. Doctor Who, Walking Dead, like a lot of series have like 3 or 4 seasons before they end. You very rarely get one that enters into the double digits now, and I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, Input was saying, you know, you've outlasted a lot of main TV series, and it just made me think, like, wow, it's pretty crazy. And, you know, with that, I've had a lot of stories, a lot of high moments, but I don't want to run out of ideas. I don't want to repeat the same stories. And I don't want to copy any stories either. And what I mean by that is I don't want to, like, see a story on YouTube or see a story, like a film, and be like, that I could do a Transformers version of that. You know, I want to come up with some originality to this. And my favorite stories of the Christmas specials, I'm just going to pull them up real quick. But my favorite stories of the Christmas special, I can tell you right now. This is excluding the Christmas special in my Transformers Cinematic Universe, Peace Pipes, what I did with Santos Prime, that is probably one of my favorite Cinematic Universe stories I've done. But I'm talking about Christmas specials in the Special Universe. So, 2011, my first ever Christmas special. That was probably my favorite, well, one of my favorites, because that's what started it off, and it was simple. There was no villain fighting. Literally, all they did was Optimus cooked Christmas dinner, and Bumblebee basically misled him and told him it was Christmas Day when it was Christmas Eve. And then Optimus realized when he went to bed, he was like, "Oh wait, it's Christmas Eve." So Bumblebee was like, "Yeah, you've got to cook again tomorrow." So Prime had to do 2 Christmas dinners in 2 days. That was it, and it was less than 5 minutes long. It was so stupid, so dumb, so crazy. And I've tried to copy that format in a couple of other episodes when it's like, okay, let's not fight any villains. Let's just chill. And for some reason, I've just not been able to capture that magic of the first Christmas special. And unless I do a reset where it's like brand new, I don't know if I can recreate that. Maybe it's a good thing I can't recreate it because maybe I'm not meant to. Maybe I'm meant to progress it. But yeah, 2011 is one of my favorites. 2015, 2016, and 2018, that is the Krampus / Evil Santa saga. They all had boss fights, and I blooming loved those. I love that trilogy. 2020, Scourge: A Christmas Carol. That's probably my top 5. I really enjoyed that. And 2022, Sideswipes: Once Upon a Christmas. I thoroughly had a blast doing that. However, some of my least favorites, and again, I'm going to be honest here. 2013, Mixed Up Movies. I get what I was going for as a kid, but when I try and watch it, it's almost unwatchable for me. It's still canon. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's terrible, I'm going to decanonize it. You know, it's still part of the story, but it's one of them things that it's a rough watch, and I'll be honest. It's not my finest work. 2020, is it 2021? 2021, I think it was, and 2023. They weren't my favorites. And this is, again, like I said earlier, it's never going to be anything against the cast. Every time the cast do something, it's always top notch. I always have a blast listening to the cast record their lines. I am like this year, I was listening to loads of people's lines, and I was pretty much coughing because I was laughing, had a laughing fit, and I just couldn't stop. But yeah, the cast performance is never something that drags anything down. This is in terms of how do I feel about the story that I wrote, how do I feel about how I filmed it and how I edited it, and how do I feel that I did as a creator. And 2013, 2021, and 2023, they're ones that I've never been really happy with. And that's why this year I wanted to reincorporate potentially one final boss fight, because I knew I liked doing that. But I also wanted to add some emotion to it, because I know that is what makes a good story. My other 2 special favorites were Scourge: Christmas Carol 2020 and Sideswipe: Once Upon a Christmas 2022, like I mentioned. And the reason I liked them was because I took the inspiration from Scrooge: A Christmas Carol and Mickey's Mouse: Once Upon a Christmas. And I made it a Transformers story with its own original take. And I think I really did a good job with them. Like I still watch them, and I still really am happy with them. You know, pat on the back to me, I suppose. But yeah, it's one of my points that I mentioned earlier is that I want to keep it original, and I don't want to copy. Despite loving 2020 and 2022, I don't want to copy another film. Yes, I can make a Transformers version of it, but for example, The Grinch, a lot of people always tell me, you know, it'd be fun to do a Grinch Christmas special. I kind of did that with Swindle when in Sideswipe Once Upon a Christmas, because Swindle was a bit of a Grinch, a little bit. And even then, when Swindle showed up, he's always looking to steal something in the Christmas specials, even though he said he's repented. Career criminal. But I like for the Grinch, I don't just want to copy the story and then just make it Transformers version. A couple other people's done that already, and I think if I just did it, it'd be similar. So I'm not sure whether I want to do a Christmas special based on a real film, or whether I want to do any more boss fights. Don't want to repeat those old stories again. I don't want to undo any character development. And yeah, it's got to be original, I think, from now on. It's got to be fresh. And that's why I feel quite strongly about a reset, set in the same universe, but just completely new characters. So we're going to be wrapping up very soon. If anyone has any questions, drop them in the chat and I'll answer them when I get onto the questions that I have noted down. One other thing as well is, this is in terms of my cinematic universe as well. Now, I've had certain cast members, I think I mentioned this in another video. I've had certain cast members sometimes ghost me or just drop out randomly. I've always said, if a cast member needs to leave a project or doesn't want to participate, I completely respect their decision. Obviously, I prefer cast members to stay until the characters naturally close, so I don't have to recast them. In the Christmas specials, it's never really an issue because it's a bit like Toy Story, where there's lots of the same character. Think of it like Buzz Lightyear, when he thinks he's Buzz Lightyear, but he finds out that there's millions of other Buzz Lightyears in the toy shop, and they're all Buzz Lightyear, but they're all different people. Think of it like that with Christmas specials. Like, I could have I have Ultra Magnus in my other specials. He showed up as the Prime RID Voyager class figure, and then he showed up as the Predacons Rising Voyager class figure as well. And I consider those two completely separate Ultra Magnuses. The Predacons Rising Ultra Magnus he was the train conductor, Mr. Conductor, in Mixed Up Movies as the Polar Express. And then I had Prime Robots in Disguise Magnus as someone else. And this year's villain is let me just check. I just want to make sure I'm not spoiling anything. Okay, yeah, I'm not spoiling anything. So yeah, this year's villain is a certain character, which you may be able to piece together based on what I've just said. And that is a completely different version of that character. It's a completely different person, but he goes by the same name. He's a different toy. And yeah, so recasting people is never really an issue. I just kind of bring in another character of the same name if I need to. RC was another one, actually. I had 2 different RCs. And heck, loads of Optimus Prime showed up in one episode one time. So, yeah. But saying that, over the years, the Christmas crew, I've had a lot of people voice and join in on the projects, but the Christmas specials have essentially got to a point where it's like a family, and it's the same characters, same cast members all every year, and it feels really good to get everyone together for one final project at the end of the year each time. You know, every single year, do one project at the end of the year, have as many people together as possible, and it feels really good to do that, because with my cinematic universe, it's a bit more rigid. Some people may be in one story and they may not be in for 2 years because of project size or story, or maybe a character got killed off or whatever. But yeah, Christmas specials, it's, you know, it's pretty chill, and you don't have to take it too seriously. You know, everyone's character is reversed. Optimus Prime isn't like your typical Optimus. He's an egotistical narcissist who wants a spotlight and doesn't really care about anyone else. And it's really fun of the voice actor to embody that, because a lot of the time when I'm doing like Optimus Prime, my cinematic universe, I have to make sure I'm on point with what I'm saying. Whereas I can go off script, and everyone else in the Christmas specials can go off script and improv if they really want to. And you can completely embody someone else who is not you. You know, I really like voicing Trigger Happy in my cinematic universe because he is completely the opposite of who I am. The same with Optimus Prime in the Christmas specials. I can go completely random because that's not who I am. And it's fun to just be someone else for a change. And it's fun to bring everyone else together. You know, we've got Chrome Dome, who's essentially, you know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger. And yeah, it's really fun to do that. But yeah, so there's another point I had in my head, which I'm trying to remember. But with that improv, with great improv comes great responsibility. So scene 2 in my Christmas special this year, scene 2 is 7 pages long, which I aim to be around 6 to 9 minutes of screen time. However, being me, I put in this I put in the script for everyone, if they wish to do this, to improv a speech. And with different actors, you'll get different speeches. Same with me. I think I did a few characters when they droned on for a little bit. So you might get someone who's like, hey, I'm doing a little improv speech. Anyway, Merry Christmas, goodbye. And you'll get some people who, they'll go on for like 5 minutes. And scene 2, what I estimated to be 6 to 9 minutes, is 15 to 19 minutes in the end. I forget how long it is, but it's like 15 to 20 minutes nearly. And I'm like, what? Like, wow. So yeah, we can really go off script, and it's kind of fun to do that as well. So yeah, it's, you know, if cast don't return, or if they just can't make it, like this year I had a couple actors who weren't able to make it. I asked them, you know, can you commit this year before I write the special? And they said, no, I can't. So it meant some of the recurring characters couldn't star in this, or if they did, it was in the background. Again, like I mentioned before, like the background characters. Some characters, some voice actors haven't been in the special for multiple years because, you know, they've either ghosted me for whatever reason, or I've just not been able to contact them. They've been unreachable. And this was a big thing about the recast, what I mentioned a while back, where sometimes you would wait on an actor's line for months, and eventually you just have to move on with the project and recast them, and it's really unfortunate. But yeah, I think to get to this point, I'm really happy with. And I think right now, I'm just reading my notes. But I think it's time to answer some questions. So, Derek, thank you. You're still here. Yeah, improv's really good. I love your improv. Again, if anyone has any questions, drop them in the chat and I'll answer them now. So, yeah, improv is one of the most funny things to do. Just don't punch yourself in the face when you're doing improv. Derek knows what I'm talking about because his character, Quake, punched Trigger Happy in the face in an episode, and what an idiot I was, thinking, I really want some emotion. I was basically doing all these grunts as Trigger Happy, like and I was really like, it was a monotone. I couldn't really do it, and the idiot I was thought, actually, let's punch myself in the face for real and get an actual emotion. So when Trigger Happy gets punched, that's actually me going, ouch. So yeah. Anyway, Derek. So Derek's question is, any characters I'm going to bring back? Any characters you are... Sorry, I can't read. Any characters you going to bring back? Do you mean like reoccurring characters? You mean if I reset my universe? Or do you mean if I do a hiatus and bring it back for a reunion? Or do you mean... I think that's what you mean, like any character that I'm bringing back. If I reboot. So, if I reboot, it's in the same continuity, but with a different set of characters. Same cast members, as I mentioned, can come back. I'm happy for same cast members to voice new characters, or new cast members to come and take the stage. If people... That's another thing. People, as I mentioned, people get busy this time of year. So if cast members had like 3-4 years away from the Christmas special, it might just give them that breathing space they need, and then they can come back in a few years' time if they want. But to answer your question, Derek, yes, if I reboot, I could do this year's Christmas special and then round off the main Christmas story in 2026, bring that to a close, bring it to a reboot in 2027, 28, 29, have 3 years of reboot, and then maybe do a reunion in 2030. So, yeah. If I did a reboot and I did a reunion, because the reunion can happen in the reset or the hiatus. So I'll be bringing characters back. I will bring characters back. I've got a few in mind, but this depends on the voice actor availability, whether they're available. I would love to bring Scourge back. Scourge is one I want to bring back. Optimus, obviously, got to bring him back. Ironhide would be fun to bring back, but again, it depends on the voice actor, whether they're contactable or not. Oh no, you're the only voice of Chrome Dome from me, Derek. I'm not getting anyone else. You are the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the weightlifting champion. So Derek says, why do I feel like we should have a Transformer that thinks he's a crocodile hunter? He breaks the fourth wall and narrates a Dinobots like he's hunting. Oh, yeah. Like a Crocodile Dundee sort of character. I mean, to be fair, there is some crocodile characters, alligator characters, so yeah. So a couple of questions I've got here are from Primus84, if he's watching this or if he's watching it after this special. And again, if anyone else has any questions, just drop them in the chat. Apologies about that background noise. So Primus84, he says, now the Christmas specials are coming to an end. What made me want to do the Christmas specials in the first place? Now, that's an excellent question and one that I never really thought of for a good while. Funnily enough, the Christmas specials originally, if I remember correctly, if I remember my 12-year-old's brain, I think the Christmas specials originally intended to be a one-off. When I was doing my original Transformers series, I did season 1, I did 5 episodes, and I said, episode 6, let's do a Christmas special, but just make it goofy. And then after that episode aired, I made season 2 and 3 of my series. And then 2012 came around, and I was like, actually, let's do another Christmas special. And that ended up being a bit of a parody of the season 3 finale. Like, they were all filming it, like the actual series, the main series. They were filming the final fight, and everyone was facing off against Megatron. And then, for some reason, Optimus just disappears, and he like disappears from set. And everyone's like, where's he gone? We can't finish filming this episode. You know, we need to finish this episode. And Optimus just went and started celebrating Christmas because he realized it was Christmas. And then 2013 came around, and I just wanted to do some mixed up movies, as I call it. Probably my least favorite Christmas special I've done, but I kind of wanted to combine the Polar Express and Scrooge a little bit as well. Bumblebee had his own Scrooge, which didn't really work out well because Bumblebee is rude, very rude to this day. He doesn't care what he says. He will like offend you. He will just insult you. But he's not grumpy anymore, so that's good. He just insults you. But after that, it just became a bit of a rolling thing. Like 2014 came around, and then it was everyone were getting a bit annoyed at Optimus for celebrating Christmas, and Ironhide tried to kill him. And then the next year came around, and then I was like, actually, I want to do Krampus. You know, I want to introduce Krampus, and then it just rolled on. Krampus returned, then it was a little bit of a break, and then Evil Santa came, and then before I knew it, I was in this thing when I was just doing Christmas specials every year. Which brings me on to my point that I forgot about, which I'm going to say now before I forget. This is a very ego thing. And by ego, I don't mean like egotistical. I mean like ego is in like your self-identity. This is a very ego thing for me to say, but I'm kind of afraid to end the specials because of how long I've done it. Because I'm kind of afraid that if I end it one year, if I just don't do it, then as soon as I don't do it, am I going to regret not doing it? Yeah, I'll have a break away for a year, but am I going to feel the instant regret that I've not done it this year? And I'm going to break that streak. 15 years. Unless I do Christmas specials for another 15 years after that, I'm never going to get that streak again. I don't know anyone on YouTube who really does Transformers Christmas specials and does it for the length that I've done it. I've seen the odd Christmas special that people do, and I think they're really good. But I don't think anyone's done it consistently every year like I have for as long as I have. And I just think if I end it, I'm going to feel so bad that I didn't make it to 20 years or 25 years or 30 years. Like, oh my gosh, how long can I do this for? Because originally I wanted to just do it constantly. And maybe that's what I need, just to do it, continue it, but just constantly reinvent it, do different things with it. So yeah, that's one thing. So yeah, that's Primus's H4 question. Derek, you say... yeah, you could definitely do like a Crocodile Dundee character. Yeah, like there's different holiday specials we can do. And R-rated. The thing is, for me, I'm not like I don't know if I would have the capacity to create something like that, because I mean, in my cinematic universe, I can go to dark places. There's places in my cinematic universe that you have not seen yet. And there's a story that I wrote that I haven't made yet, but it's all written and I've got the voice lines for it. And one of the cast members, I'm not lying, one of the cast members refused to take part because they thought it was too dark. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I respect you for that. I'll get someone else to voice that character. And that's not the darkest place that I'm going to go. I don't want to be like edgy or anything like that, but I'm pushing these characters to dark places. And But for an R-rated one, if you're thinking like swearing and everything, I don't know if I'll be able to do that because I'm not like a natural cursor. But I will add those curses into the specials because when like Chrome Dome or whoever's doing improv, like Scourge swears a lot, Sideswipe swears a lot. Yeah, it makes me laugh and howl. If I hear a character just start swearing and I'm like, okay, this is gonna demonetize the video a little bit, but it's hilarious. It may not be suitable for kids anymore, but it's still blooming hilarious. Like I will add those curses in because it's just funny. It's yeah, and again, you can go wild with Christmas specials. Transformers meets Home Alone. Bumblebee's Home Alone and Megatron and Starscream trying to rob the joint. That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Yeah, I love the improv. We have another question from Primus84. He says, "Is there any Christmas themed story Is there any Christmas themed story that another TV show has done that you would like to mimic in your universe?" Derek, this might appeal to you, but there's two. But again, I'm not sure whether I would want to sort of retell a story that's already been told, even though I've done it with Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas and Scrooge A Christmas Carol. Even though I've retold official Christmas stories, I don't know whether it's something I would want to do again because I don't want to copy something. I want to keep it original. But I've always enjoyed Jingle All the Way, and Christmas with the Cranks is pretty funny. And the things that I take away from both of those films is it's very family oriented. The story is very centered around a family. And I think that's something I would love to do in a Christmas special. Maybe not copy those, but have something where it's centered around like a family emergency or family drama or something family oriented. That would be really fun to do. I mean, yeah, you might be like, family with Transformers, like, what are you going to do? Have Optimus become a dad? Like, I don't know. The dynamics might be a bit weird with that, but it'd be interesting to have something more family driven, family oriented. Yeah. Just checking through my notes, and then I'll answer any last questions, and then I think I'll call that a good stream. I think I'll call it after that. A few questions I had for myself was, do I have a cutoff point? Is there a point when I will just say, as soon as I get to here, I'm done? Yes and no. So, again, 2025 Christmas special is not the finale. It's meant to be a setup finale. In 2026, that will conclude the Christmas crew potentially to a reboot. But the 2026, whether it ends or goes to a new continuity, that would be sort of my cutoff point as I am thinking right now, unless something else happens in the background. I can just carry on every year as normal and see how I feel in a few years, but then I just feel like I'm going to be at the same point as I am now, where I'm questioning whether to continue. Sorry if you can hear any background noise. My dog's waking up. Another question to myself was the animation style in the Christmas special. While it's simple, it's unique, but it's low quality. Sometimes I look at the Christmas special animation and I think, I'm never going to get it. Well, I can get it to the point on my cinematic universe, but it's going to take. I'd have to start working on it in like August. So it's nice to do a simple animation. But what I will say is the fight scene in 2025. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with it. I hope you all enjoy it. Another question to myself. Well, it's not really a question; it's more of a statement. But I have no concerns in terms of cast performance It's just my own performance of the quality of what I'm putting out there, the animation, the story, everything. And my final question to myself was, do I rush for a Christmas special deadline? And the answer is yes. I don't want to start working on it too early because then I'm not in the Christmas spirit and I don't really put any thought or effort into the story. I want to do it when I'm in the Christmas spirit, but then I don't want to leave it too late. So it makes me push for a deadline, and maybe that does impact in quality. Derek's question. What if I made a Christmas special of the characters trying to save Christmas specials by making one gigantic special that's just a parody of a bunch of different holiday movies? Yeah, so kind of links into this year a little bit, where the fate of the continuity of the Christmas specials is in the balance and they're trying to save it. But with the bunch of different movies, I kind of did that in mixed up movies where I had Scrooge and Polar Express in one film, Home Alone, and a scene from Die Hard, and a scene from Jingle All the Way, and Christmas with the Cranks. Yeah. Again, it's what I've noticed. One, I like the simple stories, so that's like 2011 when it was like 5 minutes longer and they just chilled. But again, I've tried to recreate that, and the quality has not been the same. So I like the simple ones. I like the boss fights, but I think there's only so many times I can do a boss fight. You know, Krampus had 2 boss fight episodes. Evil Santa had one. Now we're getting this year's villain, which now we're at the end of the video. I'm actually going to let you guys know. Most of you probably know because you're probably the cast members watching this. But this year's villain is none other than... And that's all the time we've got time for today. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Psych. This year's villain is 2. Actually, there's 2. Both are Shattered Glass characters. Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus and Shattered Glass Blaster. So, potentially my favorites. And I'm really happy with how I wrote those. Ultra Magnus, as I mentioned, is a different character to the previous Ultra Magnus that's been in my specials. The other Ultra Magnuses are like different Ultra Magnuses. Ultra Magnus in this is a very... he's not like Shakespearean, but he's very articulate with his words. He likes classical music. He's intelligent, but he's also one for the dramatics. And then Shattered Glass Blaster, he's the complete opposite. Like, they shouldn't get on. They shouldn't get on well with each other. And they don't really get on well with each other, to be honest. Magnus and Blaster kind of butt heads a little bit. So you got Magnus, who is very proud of himself, and he likes to speak in a certain way. Whereas Blaster, he speaks in slang. He'll shorten words. He'll be very like hip and DJ sort of vibes. And yeah, that is such an interesting dynamic that I really had a lot of fun writing with. Scene from Elf, that would be hilarious. I watched that the other day, actually. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, like they want to do one film, but it's not happening, so they're kind of sad about it. But yeah, so essentially, to wrap it up, this Christmas special that may come out today, depends if I have to edit anything, because if I have to edit anything, that takes 2 hours to export the video, and it takes at least 2 to 3 hours to upload. So that I'm looking at a 10 p.m. upload because it's 5 p.m. currently. If not, it'll be uploaded tomorrow or Wednesday so tomorrow or Friday at the latest. So I don't want to wait too long. You know, it's already the 17th of December. And with this special, a lot of the character stories are sort of coming to a close. It's going to lead into 2 more projects, which one of them gets teased at the end, just before the credits go up. That leads to at least 2 characters getting concluded, potentially 3. Haven't wrote it yet, so it depends. Yeah. I'll just be back one moment, and then I think we'll wrap this up. Apologies about that, folks. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the questions answered that I got asked. Thank you to everyone who's asked them. If you've got any final questions, post them now before I end the video. But yeah, everything's sort of concluding now. And again, at the end of the 2025 special, before the credits roll, the teaser for another project. There is a post-credit scene, but you'll have to wait for it for after the credits because let's just say there's some fun in the credits. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it's, you know, Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus in this actually is voiced by Primus84. Primus84 and I met at TFT Nation last year, and it was so random how we met because we just kind of bumped into each other constantly. It was a bit crazy because it was like we bumped into each other and we sat next to each other in a panel, and then another panel we kind of sat next to each other and we're like, oh, hello again. And then another panel we just sat next to each other nearly, and then we bumped into each other, I think, at breakfast, and then we bumped into each other in the trader hall and the panel. It's like, what's going on? Like, we kept bumping into each other. It was like we were just having signs from God, like, you need to speak to this person. Out of the thousands of people who's here, you know, speak to this one. And yeah, we started talking and just hit it off straight away. And his favorite character is Ultra Magnus. And Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus is so different to an Ultra Magnus, and I hope Primus84 doesn't mind me saying this, but this is his first role. He's never voice acted before. He's done, well, technically he has. He was in End of Days, but he voiced some humans who got killed by Blackout and got killed by Berserker. And he voiced a Viacon in the background when they were either getting shot or when they were like, all hail Megatron. So all he did was like a few little things like that and some grunts going like, He's never had a full acting role. This is his first. So be kind, guys. You know, it's his first one. I think he did a really good job. And he really welded well with Ultra Magnus's personality in this. How I mentioned he's very articulate with his words, the way he speaks. It's his favorite character, first time he's voicing anyone. It's a unique opportunity for him. So be kind. Yeah, if you do have any feedback, keep it constructive. Don't be mean. It's always nervous doing your first role. I used to get nervous all the time about Optimus Prime because I was flat out told by multiple people that I suck at Optimus, and I am a terrible Peter Cullen, and for years I had that, and I was always nervous about being Optimus. I always thought if I put a project out, what are people going to say about Optimus? And my Optimus Prime was never meant to be Peter Cullen. He's meant to be a younger Optimus Prime, a bit more stressed out, and he's just meant to be the Optimus Prime in the series. He's not meant to be anyone else. He's meant to be my own. So yeah, be kind, guys. Let Primus84 know what let him know what you think of his debut as a character. I think he did a really good job. But anyway, I think that's it. Please stay tuned because the special could drop within the next few hours. So yeah, I'm going to give the chat a minute or two just to catch up, just to see if they want to ask any final questions before I end it. And while I wait, I'm just going to say, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of my specials if you're a voice actor or any of my projects. It doesn't matter whether it's a one-time line character. I always say, no matter whether it's a big role, a lead role, or a small role, I can never finish the project without anyone. Even if you voice one line, because eventually I'm going to get to the point in the project where I need to add that single line, even if it's one line of dialogue. And without your line of dialogue, I can't finish the project. Everything is crucial. And I just want to say how grateful I am that I've had an audience for 15 years. I've had these amazing characters and amazing cast members who have contributed not only so much to the specials, but my life as well through very tough times. And, not to make this too depressing on an end note, but, growing up, never really had those people. And the people who I've spoken to and the people who I've got to know, they've been like my actual true friends. It just sucks that we're thousands of miles apart. Oh my god. Oh, just seen jokes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Derek, his comments in okay. Yeah, wow. My gosh. You know what I would love to see? Chrome Dome doing his own gym membership program. Like, I follow Igor Voitenko Next Workout Program on YouTube. I would love to see Chrome Dome doing like a workout vlog, like day one. Like, let's hit your abs today and just see what he does. I think any normal person would die with his workouts. Like, I did a Chrome Dome motivates you to work out video when he's just like getting interrogated by Prowl, but he just flips conversation and Prowl has no power in that situation. Like, he's trying to interrogate Chrome Dome and Chrome Dome just starts working out in the middle of the interrogation room and Prowl just doesn't know what to do. He's just waiting for him to finish. And there's a bit where Chrome Dome's doing like the bicycle ab movement where you're on the floor and you're doing the bicycle. And there's a point where he's doing it. I mean, he just goes rapid fire. And it's like, that's kind of hard enough to do on its own anyway, like as a normal movement, but he goes full on rapid, like light speed. It's my dog yawning in the background. But no, those on screen are the final. Yeah, Chrome Dome becomes a voice actor. So these on here are the final. So just to recap it before I finish, I can either end the specials completely, I can either carry on, see how it goes, I can do different specials like a New Year special, Halloween, Bonfire Night, Thanksgiving, Easter special, or just a normal episode with a Christmas crew, but it's not Christmas. Could open up a different variety of stories where then it's not Christmas centered. Because I mean, if I do a Christmas special and it's not Christmas centered, what's the point? Doing something else would be something else. Like, yeah. Fourth is a reset, same continuity, but for at least 3 years, we'd follow different people, new voice actors or returning voice actors as new characters. 5 is just have a break for hiatus, but again, I'm kind of concerned about the streak because, 15 years is a long time and I'm never going to build that up again. That's an ego thing, I know, but yeah. And next one is do Christmas special centered in my cinematic universe. So yeah, but no, thank you. I wanted to go for an hour. It's about 15 minutes over, but yeah, I just wanted to round off like that. So I'm happy with how the stream's gone, and I hope you've all enjoyed this and I hope you enjoy this year's special, because I was a little bit apprehensive with the episode this year for Christmas. When I was writing it, I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. Funnily enough, I was going to star in it. Actually, I was going to make an appearance. I was going to get shot by Ultra Magnus, and everyone was going to be like, "Dang, he killed Transformers 55,000. What are we going to do?" And I decided not to do that because I just didn't. But it was literally I was filming the characters, and it would be like the characters are on set and they can see me animating them and taking photos, but then Ultra Magnus just comes alive and shoots me. But yeah, when I was writing the story, I was a bit apprehensive, like how is it gonna go? And I've had multiple people say that they did enjoy the story, and it does feel more natural progression for the characters. So yeah, I think watching the final product earlier. Not early, I've not watched it today. What I'm talking about last night when I was watching it. The fight scene I'm very happy with. The improv that people have done, I am extremely happy with. The credits, I was a little bit apprehensive about it, but how I've managed to do the credits, I'm very happy with. The end credit scene, I'm happy with. It's a bit of a reference to Superman. If anyone's seen the Superman credits, end credits, it's a little bit of a reference to that. Because that was my favorite film of the year this year. That meant a lot to me. Yeah. The soundtrack choice, I'm happy with. And I think generally I'm happy with this year's special. So that's where I'm going to end it. But no, thank you everyone for joining, for asking questions. If you have any questions after this stream's ended, pop it in the comments below. Reach out to me via DM. But yeah, thank you. Discord link. Well, that's one thing I meant to mention. We had a bit of a issue last night in the Discord where a bot came in and started spamming everything. They're gone now. It's fine. But I had to reject all previous Discord invitation links. So any Discord links in previous video descriptions won't work. The newest Discord link is in this video's description and also in my channel description. So if you're going to join my Discord, use those links. So yeah, but that's it. So thank you, everyone. Have an amazing time. I would say follow me on Instagram, but I'm not on Instagram at the minute. Taking a break from that. And yeah. Feel free to comment and check out the special when it's out, hopefully tonight. So yeah, thank you, everyone, and take care. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. I'll see you on the next live stream, whenever that is, probably in about 5 years. I'm joking. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you, everyone. Take care.